Hi everyone. So have you ever stopped to pause and notice how you feel when you look at your calendar for the week? You might see meetings, you might see tasks or deadlines. And how do you feel when you look at the different elements in your calendar? The different words, the different people, the different experience that it reflects to you from your past. And I'm really curious about when we notice what it is that we're anticipating to happen in our calendar, whether it be that we feel a moment of dread when we see something in our calendar, or we feel a moment of excitement or indifference. What I'm curious about is how that moment of when we notice how we're feeling is actually really about being empowered in creating a new outcome for ourselves. And what I mean by that is, if we have a feeling of dread about a meeting that's coming up in the week, and the meeting hasn't even happened yet, but it's in our calendar as a line item in there. And we have that feeling of dread as we're leading up to the experience. Then when we go into it, we're anticipating that the same feeling of dread is really inevitable, and we go through the experience of the meeting. The likelihood of us coming out the other end of the meeting with a perpetuated similar outcome is pretty high. And if we rewound it back and we noticed again at the start that we had this feeling of dread when we saw it in our calendar, and in that moment we chose something a little bit different. In that moment we chose to explore and do a little bit of self-inquiry around why we might be feeling that way about that meeting. And for me, this looks a bit like, something is going on because I'm feeling a reaction to what I'm reading, right? It hasn't happened yet, but I'm already feeling something. So that is indicating to me that there is something that I anticipate about this experience that's trying to get my own attention. What is it? What is trying to get my own attention? Then I start to explore with curiosity. I ask myself, so what is it? What is it, V? What is it about this meeting that you're dreading? Why might that be coming up for you? What's really underneath it? What does perhaps the people that might be present in that meeting, or the intentional purpose of that meeting, what is it about the meeting experience, a scenario that is bringing up this reaction in myself? And what I always find is that it really doesn't have anything to do with the people in the meeting or what the meeting might be about. Usually it comes down to something very fundamental in myself. It might be that I have felt disempowered in the past. It might be that I have felt like I don't have a voice, or I'm not really seen, or I'm not able to really feel confident and in my own truth in those meetings. There's usually something very foundational in myself beneath the people involved and the intention and the way in which the meeting is run. That usually opens up for me a new pathway, and that usually opens up the possibility that I don't have to relive the same cycle of events over and over. I don't have to open up my my calendar the following week and see that same meeting pop up and have that same level of dread, go through the same dread type experience and come out the other end waiting for it all to happen again. By noticing and contemplating what that experience holds for me and why I have reacted in that way, had that feeling in that way, it gives me an opportunity to break the cycle. It gives me an opportunity to really consider, what is it that I'm going into this meeting for? What's my intention? What is it that it's here to teach me in terms of self-growth, in terms of what it is that I feel like I'm really uncomfortable about in that space? What is it that I need to give to myself? This is all an empowering way of stepping into something that we might dread, which in itself enables a new energy to emerge, which breaks that constant repetition and gives everybody an opportunity to share a different experience together. So thanks very much for spending this time with me, and may you have a magical workday every day.